Hey everybody, this is Sofia Wren. This is The Cycle. The Cycle is an interview series where I ask writers and creators about their creative process and all their inspiration as they go through the cycle of creating something really amazing. Today we're going to talk to Sarah Love, who I'll tell you about in a moment. And we can gain so much inspiration from other artists and creators. We're all going to go through the process a little bit differently, but it's great to hear other people's experiences, and I find it so fascinating. So I hope you enjoy this show. And my name is Sofia Wren, and I work with writers and creators to help them make faster progress on their projects or in their business. And I really believe that we can more easily figure out what to do next when we're really connected to our intuition. So I help people to connect to that. And today's guest is Sarah Love McCoy. She's an inspirational artist, outrageous optimist, and the founder of the I Stand for Love movement. She created the Life is Beautiful and So Are You calendar to uplift and inspire you every day with morsels of wisdom and radiant color. Sarah believes that a more loving world starts from the inside and works its way out. Say hello to Sarah and join a growing team of love warriors at her site, www.istandforlove.com. And here is Sarah. Sarah, say hi to everybody.
Hello, my friends.
Look at all the art. She's got such a beautiful office, all this color. I always see a lot of color in everything you create. So your office is no different. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's definitely for me as well. You know, we make the things for ourselves, and then it's great if people like them, right?
Yeah. And so I'm going to ask you about your inspiration overall as an artist. So does that relate that you create a lot of things for your own joy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not didn't go to art school, didn't have a lot of positive feedback, art related in my life. And so I feel like the colors help me old kind of fun art instead of taking myself too seriously. I like to draw, butterflies and rainbows and flowers and hearts because those are all things I feel confident drawing, basically. But then it turned into the things that, I love and bring me joy. So yeah, it's definitely connected to getting through my inner critics and going straight for the childlike creativity coming out.
Yeah, and your art is so beautiful. I've seen a lot of them that have like just like all these cool things going on in them, lots of different colors and shapes and layers and um so creative. It's really cool to see you. And then I know you do paintings and you also do your calendar. You do this I Stand for Love Day experience. Are there any other things you create?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm always looking for the little things I create, for myself, and then the larger projects, usually like the calendar I do every year, which is a whole year-long art creation process. But I'm working for next year on a card deck.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm doing 44 of cards of the art, and then my friend Lindsay Para from the Mystic Society is writing the book, so it's a fun collaboration. And it's really great because, as you know, as a writer, it's like I get to like put that aside and just do the visual stuff, because a lot of my art usually has words and
Oh.
inspiration phrases in it too.
Yeah.
So it's been cool to just do like mixed media and collage and paint and really get into the symbolism of things. And so that's coming up next year. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And I know you've done teaching and as a spiritual teacher and help people with mantras and things before. So you've done all kinds of different kinds of expression.
Yeah, I love focusing on, women and art and magic and kind of incorporating, the moon cycles and our creativity and self-love. So I'm one of those, definitely multi-passionate artists.
I love it. I love it. And I love all those things. So I'm like so excited to have you on my show. It's so fun. And yeah, and I know your calendar is big a big thing every year. I have one. I had one a couple years ago. It's so positive and colorful. I know I still have it because I'm like, I want to use this somehow. Like, I just love all of the art. How long have you been making the calendars for?
This year is my 13th edition. It's kind
Wow.
of in my mind. Yeah, which is funny because I don't think we've ever talked about this, but it started out, I was gonna write a book. I was gonna write a book of poetry. This was in 2003. And I went through like 10 years of old journals, and I was post-it noting, doing all these little tags around the things I wanted to extract from these old journals to make this little book of poetry. And then after I got through reading through that, I thought, I don't want to regurgitate this material anymore because I lived through it the second time as I'm reading everything. But then I had all these tiny little chunks, and that's what became the calendar. I'll just show. It's hard to talk about it.
Wow. That's so cool.
Every day has a little like 4 or 5 word little saying. And
Yeah.
so that was what I ended up doing with my writing, was just taking these tiny little chunks instead of these longer stories. And the first year I made this, it was just for a gift for my friends and family. I just went to Kinko's. I drew this little thing. I went to Kinko's. I made 50 copies. And that was it. And I gave them away for, solstice, holiday, Christmas gifts. And then the next year, people were like, oh, I didn't realize I was creating a product that you redo every year at the time. I wasn't even thinking about it, but then people were like, oh, cool, you're going to make that again? And I was like, oh, yeah, so then I printed like 100 the next year, kind of thing. It was super duper organic, and, just really like this mishmash of, books I've read and songs I've heard, and then distilling these little nuggets down from, these longer prose. So I don't know. I just thought you'd enjoy that because your writing is so much your vein.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. And it's like thinking about like the cycle of creativity, I always, I have a lot of respect for like where things want to go. So it was like you started out thinking it would be in a book form, but you thought, okay, well, I'm reading all these journals. The reason is because I'm going to write a book out of it. I'm going to extract things. So you're like taking all the time to mark these spots, and then your feelings about the whole thing change. And you like really honored that. You didn't like force yourself to like write this entire book, and like you followed it and you decided, oh, it would be really fun to make a Christmas calendar. And who would have known 13 years later you would be, sending these out to people all over. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's fun. It's fun to hear your spin on it too, because yeah, it's true. I really just, there was no pressure. There was nobody else knew about it or was expecting it. So there was nothing, stopping it from being whatever it wanted to be. So that's actually a really good point about how tightly we can grip onto things, within the creative process. And it really does, like, it makes the channel, like when we start out, the channel's just like, whatever, like, whoa, I'm making something, and then once we start to really, sometimes we need that structure to like really bring it in. But other times we just hold it so tight and it's like, no, I want it to look like this. I want it to look like this. That's why I think I do so many layers on my paintings, because the first like 5 layers, I can do whatever I want, because no one's ever going to see those layers. Like, I know in my mind, like, those are just for depth. So I go crazy. And then the painting starts to tell me, which direction it's going. And so then I kind of start to rein it in a little bit. But I love that I don't care and I don't know and it doesn't matter. I'm just like putting paint on,
It's really refreshing, because I think a lot of us are scared of that bubbling up, messy part.
Oh, that's the best part, honestly.
I love that part. Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, because, and it's a testament to why I have, a whole handful of started paintings that aren't finished yet, you know, because I like to start and do that part. That's where the freedom and the expectation is. But I really think the link between self-love and creativity is so also like my point where I really like to go, because that critic and when we start to really think, oh, it's going to look this certain way, then that's where sometimes the unloving voices start to come in.
Totally. And to be like, what are you doing? You said you were going to write a book. Like, you're just going to let go of that? You're going to give up?
That's funny because I still think I'm going to write that book someday. Like, I let myself put it on the shelf, you know. It wasn't like, oh, we're not doing that. It was like, oh, we're going to do something else. And then the journals are all still, you know, like stacked up.
Yeah. Well, that'll be cool. I bet whatever you end up doing with that idea is going to be, you know, just like the many layers of your painting. It'll turn into something maybe we don't know what it, you know, it'll transform into some new butterfly thing.
Oh, yes.
That'll be cool. I like that. Well, it's cool. And then you also have your I Stand for Love Day, which I gotta say, 8/8 is my birthday. So that you have this celebration of love on 8/8 every year, I just completely love. And I'm like, it's for me. You know, I see you posting stuff about it like a month ahead. I'm like, yes, it's my birthday. So I love that. But tell me more about how that happened. How long has that been going on?
That's such a cool connection. Well, it's actually my wedding anniversary.
Oh.
We got married on 8/8/8. We did the whole magic 8. We had our first date on 2004, on August 8th, 2004. So it's always kind of been our little like anniversary. So we decided, let's just get married on that day too. Then it would be easy, you know, and magical. And then in 2012, it was one of those times where I had the really big creativity, you know, lightning bolt, pretty much woke me out of bed. And I have to say, I'm usually lazy, and I don't get out of bed when I roll back over and try to go back to sleep. But this night, thankfully, I got up, got my journal, and I wrote the words, I stand for love. I stand for love. And it was like distilling down into 4 words, like, again, like this like, who am I? What do I, you know, what is this about? What is my life about? And it was like the 4 words that were really summed up my heart and my, you know, desire for the world, and my, like, the legacy I want to leave. And, you know, all these things were like, I stand for love. Okay. Felt like a declaration. And so I saw this like kind of, oh, this day of love. Like, what if in the world there was this day where we could all post, you know, was like the theme was to just fill social media and fill the airwaves with love. And I've always believed in that, you know, 100th monkey effect, where like if we can get the collective juices, like just, you know, enough, then something bigger can happen in our consciousness. Cool. So I hold on to that as my hope, because I even tapped into the power. I mean, we could really heal so many things. And I love, that's why I love the power of the calendar is out there too, because you're looking at it, you know, reading the little message. Well, there's thousands of other people reading the same message on the same day. And I think, ooh, like, what if that mojo of all those people thinking positive thing can tip the scale somehow? So who knows? But I thought 8/8, let's just put a stake in the ground and say, this is Love Day. I stand for love, and positive things go into the, you know, all the social media outlets, and hearts. I really encourage, like, people taking selfies with hearts. And it's also an invitation to say, I stand, like, I want everybody to say it. It wasn't just I stand for love. Yeah. It's like, you know, how can this become a little mantra for everyone? And so I just think of like, if we have one day at least, you know, where we say, I stand for love, and like have this little tidal wave of goodness in the airwaves, I just feel like, hey, it won't hurt, right? So, so let's see what happens. And I love that. I love that you feel that special connection, because that's what I want everyone, you know, I love that. I love like when people write me about the calendar, or someone say, oh my gosh, I feel like you wrote that just for me. That's the best, biggest compliment I can ever receive. So I'll always remember that it's your birthday now. I love that.
Oh, well, thank you. I feel that special tingliness with, yeah, just every time. I think it's been a couple of years now that I've known about the day, and seen your pictures. Sometimes you have pictures of you with like a free hug sign, and like, yeah, and then other people are posting
Yeah.
hearts, and it's just so great. So everybody's got to put that on their calendar. Because it's my birthday. No, just kidding. Because it's I stand for love day. And that's gonna be really fun. And I gotta say, so Sarah, having, you know, I talk to a lot of people who have like creative dreams and want to write something, or they want to make something, and they want to put something out there as a service. And you know, a lot of ideas just stay ideas, and it's always for me really amazing and incredible when somebody goes through the whole cycle and like they end with this really cool thing that they can share, and that's bringing like joy to other people, and that's speaking directly to those people. Because what if it had just been an idea, or what if it had never even been, you know, you never even read through the journals to get to that point of it getting born. So it's just like amazing that you've kind of figured out a certain way for you to be successful in your own way. And we're always working on different things, but I just want to acknowledge that. A lot of people, you know, maybe people watching are probably like, oh, I wish I could do something like that, or you know, oh, I don't know, you know. And so I would be interesting to, for their sake, to ask, like, where do you see their challenges creating, and do you have any like tips for other people?
That's such a good question. Well, I have something that very recently someone said to me, that has been sticking with me. I'm going to keep passing it on.
Cool.
Is that to come out with, you know, more of her creativity in the world. And she said, if I just keep all this in me, then how is spirit going to give me any more stuff? I have to move this thing, this idea, like at least create it physically in some capacity so that I can like receive more inspiration. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never thought about it that way, because we, you know, we always have like little ideas and stuff, but when we've got those bigger, like, ooh, I really, really want to do this someday, like we take a few steps, it's really like kind of clogging up the project line, right? It's like, you're really, you know, like, gosh, that's my thing. I want to do that. I want to, and then even just a couple steps, you know, you can find out, oh, it looks totally different, or it, you know, whatever. But if we're just having it all in our minds, a lot of room for the next cool thing. So I've been really, that's just, someone just said that to me a month ago, and I've been like, oh my gosh, that's so true, because it does kind of just, we just keep rolling it around. And so you got to take steps. You got to, you know, like you got to find somebody like you to maybe bounce some things off, help take the next step, because we have so many blind spots, you know, in our own, when it's just our little private universe. And so we need encouragement. We need to find a few people that can say, oh, you're doing great, no matter what we're doing, that can just tell us like, you're doing awesome, you know, like, you're special, you're unique, your gift needs to come out, you know, because we've been told a lot of things in our lives, right? And so there's a lot of criticism, there's a lot of negativity. So we've got to, it's not just one time that you need to hear like, this is important, whatever creative project you have, please bring it forward. We need people to tell us that all the time. I need tons of positive, like, feedback.
It's like sunshine,
I mean,
to our little flowers, you know?
and if you just put that in a closet and never look in there, like, that's just gonna be dead. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, getting some positive reinforcement, even if it's just from your own self, you know, even if you're just like slaying the inner dragons and telling yourself, I'm awesome, I'm gonna do this, you know, I'm creative, there's no one else like me, you know, because we have the comparisons, we all have the same traps, we all have pitfalls, right?
Or you could be looking at your calendar and like reading the little positive things is a way to do it too. Yeah.
Yes. Because daily, I mean, it's not just one, you know, we have these epiphanies and we think, all right, this is it. And then we wake up the next morning and we may not feel that same juice. And so we've got to find the ways to lift ourselves up through that. And then for me, the hardest thing is the boundaries on my time. I'm really, I will put, on my creativity. Like I'll do my business stuff. I'll do all this other stuff before it's art time, before it's like create time.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that's like a luxury somewhere. We were taught like you can't do the fun stuff until you've got all your chores done. You've been a good girl. And so that's my biggest challenge that I'm constantly trying to figure out is like really holding that as super important, sacred time, scheduling it. This many chunks of hours are just for painting, just for creativity. Now that I have developed products and things, like making things for products is different than just making.
Yeah, it's different. It's different when you have that goal and, you know, check the box versus just, you know, doing those messy things and just seeing what happens and being open.
Yeah. And so whatever you can do to block out and really hold it, whether it's 1 hour a month, you know, start small, and it's like a muscle. It will grow over time the more that you.
Yeah.
But that's tough because there's, you know, especially if you have kids, you have people, you know, you have your life going on, and it seems like we have so many stories around being selfish and taking that, oh, you're just going to go paint, or you're just going to go, you know, do this. So that's the things we need to change the most, I feel like, is the priority of what that creativity can bring into our lives and the energy that it we can process so many things, emotional, mental, every, you know, thing that's just like, we wonder what is wrong with me. And then we do something creative and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel great. So it's not just, you know, it's not just about the thing itself. It's about moving that energy. It's really important.
It can really, and it can have ripple effects on like so many other areas too, you know, because when you're feeling awesome and positive and happy, then everything else is easier. And so maybe then the things that you felt you need to do first would take half the time if you did it second. It's a tricky balance, I think. And what's coming to mind is when you were talking about how we have to move the thing on the conveyor belt. Like, you know, we get popcorn ideas about lots of little things, but there's like important ones sometimes. And you were saying that we have to take a few steps. Otherwise, it's just going to block all the rest of the stuff that we want to do. And sometimes people take a couple steps and then they don't continue. And I think that visual art is very daunting for some people. So, like, do you find that people are intimidated by painting and things like that?
Yes, hugely.
Are you ever intimidated?
Oh yes, I still am. I mean, like I said, not having an art degree or what, you know, in that going into my life has totally given me that, oh, I'm just a fraud, you know, story that we all have in our own way. That's
Yeah.
special, like someone's gonna find out that I'm not really an artist, you know. It's
Yeah.
like it's just those things that kind of plague our little creative process and our total BS.
Yeah. It's good to hear somebody like you saying that.
It's yes, it's like, and I feel like it's part of, you know, the challenge of it. It's part of what kind of makes it exciting is like I conquered that thing. But painting, I
Yeah.
think, is so intimidating. I mean, staring at a blank canvas is like, get ready for all your stuff. Get ready for all the old, you know, voices and the things you thought you worked on, you know, to come back up. But it's also that beautiful opportunity to heal, you know, because once you push through and you splatter some paint, you have that little burst of joy because that color, you love that color so much, and you get past, you know, what's this going to look like? What's this going to turn into? It's probably going to be ugly, you know, whatever. And you just have that moment, that little endorphin hit of like fun and excitement. Then I feel like that actually is, you know, on this, it's like 100 decibels, and that little crappy voice is like so quiet, you know, but compared to just to one little hit of like, oh my gosh, this is so fun.
Yeah.
But I love to teach. I mean, I love to teach that with the self-love lens,
Yeah.
because it helps, you know, to just say it out right out of the gate is like, yeah, you're gonna want to criticize yourself. You're gonna want to tell yourself all the crappy stuff. So here's what you do. You know, you keep painting, you keep going to the next thing. You take your painting and you flip it upside down, because then you start painting again. You know, because to kind of trick yourself into loosening up and to not having a goal and to not having like a vision at the end, what my painting should look like. That I feel like for me has been the secret, because you got to stay loose. Otherwise, it just becomes that little tunnel again where you're like, okay, I only have this much room. It has to look something like this, you know, instead of, I don't know what's happening here. I'm just like following my intuition. I know you're teach a lot about intuitive, and that's where the magic is for
It
sure.
feels so much better when you come from that place, because it's like, oh my gosh, there's this magic inside of me that guided me to create this. Wow.
Yeah. And then you can, yeah, loosen up that ego grip, right? Of what the perfection or what someone's going to think about it, because it's like, oh, well, it's spirit moving through me. I don't have to like,
Yeah.
yeah, hold on to it so tight.
Yeah. So that was just so inspiring and amazing. So thank you so much. And it sounds like, your calendar and I Stand for Love Day, and these are ways that we can, really give ourselves some love through that process of continuing on, even when some stuff comes up in the creative process, so that we can, it's like you said, it's like a day by day thing. It's not just one day we're suddenly a creative master. It's like we just have to keep on giving that self-love every single day. And you're one of those people that is a really great resource for fun, colorful, exciting ways to drop that into your life. And I know the ripples are huge. So can you tell people where they can find more information about you and the calendar and I Stand for Love Day?
Yeah, just go to istandforlove.com and it's all there. Grab your calendar, 2007
Woo!
out, and yeah, just even having this, hanging in your space with all these colors is going to be a little bit of a beam of
Yeah.
inspiration.
Yes.
Yeah, istandforlove.com, and same with, Instagram and Facebook, just I Stand for Love, and you'll find me.
Awesome. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us.
Yeah, this is really fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. And those of you watching, if you like this, go ahead and click like or subscribe, and then you'll find out about future interviews. So let's say bye to everybody, Sarah.
Bye, friends.